Shalom, everybody. My name is B. Williams. First, I'd like to give honors to the Most High, the Father, the Creator of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I like to say I stand for the rainbow with the rainbow. This is the first covenant that was given to the earth to bear witness to Noah and his descendants as they came off the ark. You can read about this in Genesis chapter 9, verse 11 through 14. I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. Then God said, this is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living creature that is with you, for proportional generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. This is the first and only covenant of Israel. This is the same covenant that we find that Moses and the children of Israel is led out of Egypt with. This is the same covenant that was in the wilderness with Moses and the children of Israel for 40 years. This is the same covenant that we shall leave out of this captivity in. So one must find the covenant, one must find the commandments and keep them. If one cannot find the covenant for oneself, at least one can keep the commandments. They one of the same. Israel, there's a lot of exposing that needs to be done. Alright? To do that, I'm going to have to come back out of here and go back over here. Alright? If you look here, we've already did a class about this here. Alright? But if you look real good, you'll find a head. You'll find a woman standing on the pillar. Alright? Clouds all behind her. But if you look in the clouds, you'll find a head, an eye in the head. Alright? This head is riding up on 4 different clouds and coming out two mountains of cloud that looks like they are on fire, or the color of gold, or the color of brass, something in that category. Okay? Now, I'm going to go to the book of Zechariah. If I can find it here. Here we go. Alright? Now I'm starting at verse 5. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and this is a woman that sits in the midst of the ephod, the eye. And he said, this is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephod, and he cast the weight of a lid upon the mouth thereof. Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, there came out 2 women, and the winds was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephod between the earth and the heavens. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, whither do these bear the ephod? And he said unto me, to build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and sit there upon her own base. Chapter 6. And I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, there came out 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains, and the mountains were mountains of of brass. And the first chariot were red horses, and in the second chariot black horses, and in the third chariot white horses, and in the fourth chariot grizzled bay horses. Alright? These are the four spirits of the heavens, which go forth from standing before Yah of all the earth. Yahweh of all the earth. Or whatever name you want to call there. Alright? There we go right there, people. This here's the two women. It's also the two mountains. Alright? The woman that sits in the mist. Alright? We're going to go to the next picture. Alright? You can see that same picture, but this time it has what you would call a Pegasus in there. We're going to go to Psalms 33. Psalms 33 and 17. A horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Alright? He's a vain thing. If you go back and you look up the word horse, Greek number 5483, it comes out, says the word Zeus. Says the word Zeus. We getting this, people? Greek 5483. The word for horse comes out to be Zeus. Alright, we getting that? Alright? Now, I want to go to Daniel's. Chapter 2. Verse 32. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Alright? That's the image. That's the head of the image. We've already did a class of that, people. Now I'm going to go into Daniel chapter 1, verse 7. Unto whom the prince of the Enochs have named, and have gave unto Daniel the name of Belteshazzar. Alright? And to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego. Alright? So to Daniel, he made him the head. This head Enoch tried to make Daniel one of his hosts. Put it that way. Alright? Now this is in the book of Daniel. This is about Nebuchadnezzar. And we know that Nebuchadnezzar had a lot of freaky things going on up in there. And we want to find out what this word Enoch means. Alright? Now we just read about horses. So let's run up here. If it goes up. Let's go here then. I hope I didn't erase it. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we can blow this up. Alright. I pushed in the word Enoch. Transgender Christians. Enoch. Transgender. Anyone who studies ancient Enochs must puzzle over the Enochs who were not circumcised but played the same role as their castrated counterpart, transgenders. An Enoch is a man who, by the common definition of terms, may have been castrated, typically early enough in his life for this change to have major harmonical. You can finish the rest yourself, people. Alright? South Asia. Hajra. Now, there's something hidden in this name right here, people. It's something hidden in this name. Is a term of South Asia, particular in India, to refer to an individual who is a transsexual or transgender. Enochs are castrated men, the human equivalent of a bullock. Transsexual and transgenders are the same. They are people who have changed sex. All right, now people, you can go and read this all for yourself. All right, I don't want to waste a lot of time on that. This is in Daniel chapter 1 we read at. All right, here it says, the prince of the Enoch, the head transgender, he tried to give Daniel a name, the name of Belteshazzar. All right, and he made him basically captain of 3 others. Are we catching that, people? Okay, now there's a lot for me to say here, and I'm kind of disappointed because I did a video just before this, and a lot of things happened, and it just didn't make it. All right, where I gave up a lot of information. Now I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that same information or not, and I have a call about to come back in that I know that's not going to allow me to finish this off. All right, so let's go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 10. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from twain it was parted, and became into 4 heads. What realm is this? This is realm verse. Let's go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 9. And out the ground made the Lord God, Zion, Israel, to grow every tree that is pleasant in the sight, pleasant to the sight, and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of good and evil. All right, so the tree of good and evil was there, and it tried to copy. The first image is seen, which is a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from trench it was parted and became into 4 heads. This is the image. All right, back to Zion, people, the true image. Okay, there's a lot to be said there, people. I don't know how much time I got here, because that other video, it was already going on 30 minutes. All right, so we read about Enoch in Daniel's, and we read about the golden head in Daniel's. We have leaders out here trying to get us to call out names, people, that we need to be aware of. We have a new covenant getting established here, Israel, that we need to be aware of, that we should not partake in no way, no fashion, no how. The Most High tells us to flee into the wilderness, Israel, but most of us cannot understand this, and most of us is not willing to do the will of the Lord God, Zion, Israel. All right. So this is the many faces of Yah. All right. If you look up in here, in this cloud, in this here, all right, and this is up to 500 gay burned alive in Thailand. All right, you'll find there's a head right here, people, looking out as the fire burns on the people. Look, people, the face of Yah right here. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, here's the next one. The Twin Towers, people. All right, we've already did a class on it. Go back and look at some of my other vids, people. If I try to do something that may not act right, try this. The same picture, people. Can you see that? This head coming out between these 2 pillars, which is the Twin Towers. Can you see this, people? This is the same thing you read in Zechariah 6. This is the same thing that if you go back into Genesis and read in chapter 2, you'll find. All right, but you have to understand the codes. That is the true Zion. This here is the image of the Lord, the destroyer. Yah. Can you see that, people? All right, here's the tabernacle man. If you look in there, you'll find a tabernacle man sitting in there too, right up here above him. All right. People, look. There it is again. The very same thing. Coming out the smoke as the people burn at this gay and lesbian parade. Now, all the colors on the flag of this gay and lesbian parade goes back to the Kabbalatry. And we done proved that. There's much more to that. So the people that's worshiping the six-sided star and all this and that, it's all the same. Israel, we must wake up. I'm going to go... And let's see. Let's go into Genesis, back into Genesis first. And we're going to go to... Alright. Verse 3, 20 and 24. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. Alright, who placed that there? Lord God, Zion, Israel. Alright, let's go to verse 14. And Zion, Lord God, said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Alright, now I want to go to Genesis 1, 26. 1 and 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowls of the air. So Adam and Eve had dominion over it at first, but then it was taken over from Adam and Eve once they fell for the serpent, and the serpent was placed above all right, the cattle and everything else. All right, he becomes the head cherub, the head cherub. All right, this is who Eve gives praise to. Genesis 4 and 1. The head cherub, who seeked the Godhead for himself, the one who said he would give salvation, the one who said he would bring divinity. This is the one who stole the Godhead from Adam and Eve, stole their glory. And we're still letting him steal the glory today, Israel. It is time to wake up, and it is time to take our place. It is time to flee into the wilderness, people. This is the same being that you would find in Revelations, people. Revelations 10 and 1. 10 and 1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it was the sun, and his feet as a pillar of fire. Let's go back, people. Let's go back here. Alright, let's come out of this one. Alright, and let's go into this one. Same image, people. Alright, and if you look good enough, if you pull this image up good enough, you'll find it has a rainbow going around it. A rainbow, a rainbow, a rainbow. This is your Yahweh. This is your Adonai. This is your all names you can put together. This is it. Alright, you can go to Zechariah 5, and it tells you about this wickedness and how they try to steal the true image. You can go to Zechariah chapter 6. Let's go there real fast. I'm running to Zechariah, people. And we're going to start from chapter 5. And we're going to start verse 7. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead. And this is a woman that sits in the midst of the ephod. And he said, this is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephod, and he cast the weight of lead upon the mouth thereof. Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, there came out two women. One woman came out, two women. I want you to imagine this to be in a woman. I'm going to show you why. And over here too, two women. And the wings was in their wings, and they had wings like the wings of a stork. And they lifted up the ephod between the earth and the heaven. Then I said to the angel that talked with me, whither do these bear the ephod? And he said unto me, to build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her own base. She's standing on her own base. Chapter 6, verse 1. And I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains, and the mountains were mountains of brass. 2 mountains here, mountains of brass. Remember, it says this is wickedness. It calls it this is wickedness. Alright? And it has horses. And it tells us one of the horses, tells us all the colors of the horses. Alright? So we want to go out. And I want you to look at this. Alright? Now I want to go to Psalms 33. Psalms 33, people. Psalms 33. Verse 17. And horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Now, that word horse, if you look up the Greek word, is 5483, and it says Zeus, S-O-O-S, S-O-O-S, Zeus, Zeus, Zeus. Are we getting this, people? Jove, Yah. Are we getting this, people? Alright, now, we take that, you say, oh, no, you just making it. We take that and we go to Acts 19. Acts 19 and 35, and I'm going to quote from there. The great goddess Diana, and of the image which fell down from Zeus, Jupiter, Jove, Yahweh, Adonai, Yah, Diana. Are we catching all this, people? How people turned everything around, flipped it upside down, and threw it back down our face, down our throat. Even our leaders is the one that led the ways for this. Alright? So, we done read in Zechariah. Let's go to Daniel's. I think we already read in Daniel's, so I don't have to go to Daniel's. But if you go to Daniel's 2, let's see if I can find it real fast. I don't know if I read it, so we want to try to go there. Daniel's right here. There you are. Daniel's 2 and 32. Daniel's 2 and 32. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thigh of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron, part of clay. Alright? So Nebuchadnezzar rose up a statue to praise for Yahweh, and thinking he was doing righteous. We find that the word Enoch is written in Daniel chapter 1, verse 7. Alright, the head Enoch, which when we look up the word Enoch, what do we find out, people? Let's see, let's go and look. I'm make sure I'm not lying. Enoch, transgender Enoch, of Enoch. Enoch is a man who, by common definition of term, may have been castrated, typically early enough in life for this change to have major hormonal. Now I'm not going to go into it. You can go into it yourself. Alright. Eunuchs are castrated men, the human equivalent of a bullock, transsexuals and transgenders are the same. They are people who have changed sex because, and you can read on, people. There's a lot more to read. I don't have time to go over all of this. I want to show the many faces of Yah. The many faces of Yah. Alright? Alright? We know that Nebuchadnezzar was into some freaky things, people. And we're reading about him. And we know he tried to establish a statue of Yah using a name. Alright? That he was cursed because of. And today the same image our leaders try to get us to follow and call it the tabernacle man. Alright, we have shown you the many faces of Yah today, Israel. We have read to you and we have talking to you. Now I want to go into the first book of Enoch. The first book of Adam and Eve. We're going to go to chapter 6, verse 7. But the wicked Satan did not keep his faith, and had no good intent towards me. And although I had created him, he considered me to be useless, and he sought the Godhead for himself. Alright, I'm going to go to chapter 45 in here. Give me a second here. The first book of Adam and Eve. I'm in chapter 45 now. And I'm going to read from verse 5. God said again to Adam, see how Satan has exalted you? He has deprived you of the Godhead. What? He deprived, he stole it. Genesis 3 and 14. And of an exalted state like me. So we was in that state, and has not kept his word to you, but has ended up to become your enemy. He is the one who made this fire, in which he meant to burn you and Eve. What fire is that? Remember in Genesis 3 and 24, the flaming sword? Remember that, people? We're going to go to verse 48, verse 4. When Satan's host heard those words, they came to the part of the mountain where Adam and Eve were asleep. It goes back to that picture I was showing you, people. Alright? Now I want to go to, let's see here. Let's go to 54. Chapter 54, first book of Adam and Eve. And I'm going to start off at verse, let's see here. 4. When Adam and Eve thought the cherubims was not watching, they came to the garden, to the eastern border of the garden, the same place where we read in Genesis chapter 3, verse 24. But as they were standing by the gate, as if they desired to go in, the cherub turned around, as if to put them to death, according to the order God had given him. And the cherub suddenly came with a flashing sword of fire in his hand. Alright. Let's continue. Alright, and I want to go to chapter 59, first book of Adam and Eve, verse 6. Then God said to Adam, Adam, see, he is Lord and Master of all you have. He who said he would save you, he who would give you divinity. Where is this love for you? And where is the gift he promised? Did it please him just once, Adam, to come to you, comfort you, strengthen you, rejoice with you, or send his host to protect you? Because you have obeyed him, and have obeyed his counsel, and have followed his commandment, and transgressed mine. Alright, so he has become Lord over us. Then Adam cried before the Lord and said, Lord, because I transgressed a little, you have surely punish me in return. Severely punish me in return. Alright, we're going to go to verse 9. Then God said to Adam, if only there had been this more... Oh, we can quit that. Okay. But you get the idea, people. There's much more in there for me to read. I don't have time, but you get the idea. See, when you read in here, you'll find out He is Lord over you, but and Master over everything you have. But He is not He is not your king. He's not your where's it at? You have you know better. Deliver me in His hands. You to deliver me out of His hands, or at least have pity on me and take my soul out of my body. Now in this strange land. Then God said to Adam, if only you had been moaning and praying before you transgressed, you would have rested from the trouble in which you are now. But God had patience with Adam and let him and Eve remain in the cave until they had fulfilled the 40 days. But the strength and flesh withered on Adam and Eve from fasting and praying. Alright, and it goes on. But as you can clearly see, He is Master, Lord and Master. Who did Eve give praise to? The Lord. Who did Adam give praise to after he was told he had to go and pray to the Lord? No more Lord God. In the Garden of Eden, he was talking with Lord God. It was Lord God that had created him in the Garden of Eden, not Lord. Lord Yahweh is a deceiver, a trickster. And people don't want to believe it. I've shown you many faces of Yah today. And let's see, we got one more thing we got to do here. And then we're done. Let's go here. This is from Hism.
Shalom Israel to Hism. I got a challenge for all Israel. All of them. Prove the name Yah. Prove the name Yah. If you can prove the name Yah, I take my whole channel down. Prove the name Yah. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.
Israel, you heard that. My name is B. Williams, and I am out of here.